Get on the floor! Do it now!
The Special Constabulary is the nation's volunteer police force.
Do you know the gent?
What's your speed?
It's made up of over 20,000 members of the public.
Oh, it's gone down there.
Who give their time to fight crime in their communities.
Out! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Specials combine their day jobs
Stage, please.
and home lives
Here's a good boy.
with being serving police officers on the front line. Coming up, a Saturday night spirals out of control for Gary.
What? Listen to me very carefully!
A woman is knocked down by a car in a busy rush hour.
His left ankle is broken.
And the burglar caught on camera as he tries to rob a convenience store.
Who's done this? Who?
One man, two men.
It's Saturday night in Peterborough city centre. Veteran Special Inspector Gary Cowling is on shift with fellow Special Susan Burberry, who's only been volunteering for a couple of years.
Gary's been doing it for many years more than me, so he's definitely more experienced, and so I learn a lot from working with him.
Tonight, they're in charge of the prison transport van. They'll patrol the area near bars and clubs and transport any suspects into custody.
Unfortunately, like any busy city centre, we do get quite a few arrests on Saturday nights. You can expect to encounter drunk people, happy drunks, unhappy drunks, violent drunks, and people that have been arrested.
When he's not volunteering, Gary works as the manager of a local supermarket.
I'll just leave you to get the tickets on this, all right?
My day job in some ways is quite similar to my special inspector's role. At the end of the day, the police force is there to provide a service to the local community.
Have you got a membership card?
I live in Peterborough. I do the majority of my policing in Peterborough. At the end of the day, you can sit there at home and think, yeah, I have put something back.
Tonight, Gary is showing the ropes to 21-year-old Special Susan. When she's not volunteering, she's a chemistry student at Bristol University.
Being a special is much more varied than doing a chemistry degree. I think being a special just requires a bit more instinct, a bit more using your own resources, and doing a chemistry degree is a bit more about scientific knowledge.
Tonight, Susan and Gary are out on the prison wagon, a secure van with a cell in the back used to transport people who've been arrested to the police station.
It's a Saturday night and the clubs get quite busy, and there's probably going to be some sort of public order offences going on, maybe some violence.
Okay.
Drunken youth on the streets is a growing problem in Britain. More than 10 million people in England now drink more than the daily recommended alcohol limit, and alcohol misuse contributes to over 1 million incidents of violent crime a year.
You generally get people who've been in fights who get arrested and take them to custody. Sometimes you're just taking really drunk people home because it's the safest thing for them.
It's 1 a.m. and Peterborough's nightlife is in full swing. It's not long before the first incident of the evening appears on the police radar.
Sure, from Papa Delta 70, can I have a van for 2 for Fever, please?
A fight has broken out inside one of the city's most popular nightclubs. Susan and Gary have been called in to lend a hand.
Take control of this one. It's quite a big lad. He's got crush on. All right, come on. Where were you taking me?
Everybody involved was very heavily intoxicated. They'd been pushing, shoving, some rumours of assault on the dance floor. To make it safe for the people that are trying to enjoy themselves, the door staff have taken out quite a high number of people. This male was one included.
Wait, you're taking me back to the Fort Woods? Explain that.
Susan and Gary need to get the man away from the nightclub so he can't cause any further trouble. But he's not going quietly.
Oh, you can't take that.
We're just taking all your stuff out of your pockets.
What, so you're telling me you've got the right to take that?
Yeah.
Well, how am I meant to know you're going to give it back to me? Well, that's...
It definitely helps to be a female officer in certain situations. If you're in a volatile, violent situation, men don't want to hit women generally, so that's good.
They place the man in the van while they decide what to do with him.
It wasn't clear whether he's assaulted anyone, There was no complaints at the time, but he was heavily intoxicated, he was very loud, he was very obstructive, and he would have caused more problems if we'd left him there.
With the rise of public order offences, cell space is under pressure, so the police are loath to take the man into custody. But they do have other ways of dealing with suspects.
We're just going to get this gentleman out of the way. We need you in section 27 direction to leave, which means they have to leave the city centre immediately. If he breaches that, we'll then arrest him for it. As soon as I take the handcuffs off you, you must immediately get in a taxi and go home. If you do not immediately get in a taxi and go home, you will be arrested immediately. Do you understand?
Okay, yeah, that's fine, but can you do me a favour? Can you actually do it when there's a taxi in front of me?
Well, I'll let you walk to a taxi.
I'm not actually gonna...
You are allowed to walk to a taxi.
I'm not gonna run to a taxi just because you say I've got to run to a taxi.
Well, I don't want you to run, because you might fall over. I just want you to go straight to a taxi.
I'm not bothered if I fall over, but I'm not running to a taxi.
Just walk to a taxi, okay?
A taxi arrives and the man walks over to it. His night may be over, but it's only just beginning for Susan and Gary.
A lot of people tonight are going to be very drunk, so that's the kind of people we're normally dealing with on this kind of shift. At the moment it is 1:20. So the clubs are open till 6, some of them, so many more potential incidents until then.
They head back out on the road, and it's not long before the next incident of the night is radioed through.
We're just going to 2 people detained outside Ghost nightclub, so we're not sure if they've been arrested yet, but we'll find out there and then decide what we're using the van for.
They arrive to discover that one of the males has been arrested.
He's been seen by doorstaff in Ghost to basically fight them, be aggressive with them. He's been removed by doorstaff. He's still aggressive towards police. He's been arrested, drinking disorderly, clearly intoxicated.
The man has now calmed down and allows the police to lead him towards the van.
I need to give you a quick search, okay, to make sure you've got nothing sharp, any weapons or anything like that on you, okay?
But one of the regular officers on scene warns Gary that the man's behaviour is unpredictable.
Where is he? Right, listen! Listen to me! What am I going to do? Let's talk! Shut up! What? Listen to me very carefully!
Once we tried to get the man in the van, and I think it hit home that he was being arrested, he became very aggressive very quickly and did all he could to try and assault us and to try and make it impossible to get him in the back of the van.
Come on, no.
I think this incident showed that when you're dealing with anyone that's drunk to any sort of level, you have to be very careful. When you've had something to drink, alcohol-wise, what you think and what you do can change dramatically to what you normally like.
Don't kick out.
It takes 6 officers, including Susan and Gary, to get the man into the van. And even then, they have their work cut out.
We need to get him back to Fort Wood now as quickly as possible. We've got a welcoming committee waiting for us. Other officers will probably take him straight to a cell, which will be the safest option.
It was a tense situation for the 2 specials to deal with, especially Susan, who's only been volunteering for a couple of years.
I think authority to deal with incidents comes with experience, age to an extent, but now I've been a special for about 2 years. I feel like I've got a lot more authority than I had when I first started. I know much more about what's going on.
By the time they arrive in custody, the man has calmed down again.
Bring this leg forward, and I'll grab this. Ready? Step down.
All right, that's all right.
And he allows officers to lead him into the police station.
You're right. One foot after another. There we go.
But he's left a gift behind in the van for Susan.
Was sick in the back of the van, so I'm using this stuff to clean it out. So, colloquially known as cat litter. You sprinkle a bit on, apparently, and it should just soak it all up. There's a lot of stuff that we come across that is not part of training because you just don't really ever imagine it's going to happen. So, yeah, this is not the kind of thing we cover, but it's something that you learn pretty quickly, so it's okay.
The prisoner is booked into a cell for the night and will be interviewed in the morning once he's sober. As for Susan and Gary, they can finally head on home.
think at the end of a prisoner transport shift, you do feel like you've done something. You are very tired and all you do want to do is go home and go to bed. But you do look back and you do see how you've made it safer for people that have just wanted to go out and have a good time and not get involved in any trouble. You also know that you've helped your regular colleagues as well. So I think it's a great feeling. You get a good sense of self-satisfaction once you've done a shift like that.
The man who was issued with a Section 27 direction to leave did abide by the order and went home to bed. The second man was arrested on suspicion of being drunk and disorderly and was ordered to pay a fixed penalty. Specials are unpaid volunteers who work alone or alongside the regular police to fight crime in their communities.
We got all of them! Don't want to see you walking on the main road again.
Come on. Recovery's obviously en route.
Specials are not police community support officers. They're fully fledged members of the police force who have the same powers in law as their paid colleagues, including the power of arrest.
Stop it! Move over.
No, 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 no!
Move out of the way.
No.
Within many special constabularies, officers can rise through the ranks, from constable all the way to chief specials officer.
Ouch, I found a thorn. Let me remind you, you're under arrest and anything you say will be written down.
Specials work 16 hours a month or more as volunteers and undertake all kinds of duties, from policing community events to arresting hardened criminals. It's a snowy night in Wisbech. Special Constable Chris Hallett is preparing to start his shift when an emergency call comes in from a convenience store in the town centre.
Just had a report of a personal attack alarm gone off. I believe, was it a wine shop?
International Food and Wine Store in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's all the details we've got at the minute, so we'll get down, have a look, and find out what's going on. A personal attack alarm is fitted to, I'd say, probably most of the shops and banks in Wisbech. But basically what happens, if they've got an issue, they'll press that personal attack alarm, which sends a call to a call centre, and then that call centre notifies the police.
Chris has been in the Specials for a year and is used to responding to urgent calls for help.
When you hear a call like that over the radio, I suppose your instinct is to get there as quick as you can. There could be a number of things happening. That person could be being attacked at that time. They could be lying on the floor in a pool of blood. You've also got to think about your safety and the best way of dealing with it.
In his day job, Chris works for Cambridgeshire Constabulary as a site manager for 2 police training centres.
I basically look after some of their buildings, maintain it, look after contractors, make sure security is where it should be. I would say that my day job isn't much dissimilar to being a special. There's always something that needs sorting out, so it's always unpredictable.
But being a special also gives Chris the opportunity to indulge his more caring side.
I would say that I'm quite a community-focused person, and I always have been since an early age. I always try to help people where I can. I'll always go around and see like my next-door neighbour who's elderly. And yeah, I think being a special sort of just puts the icing on the cake, really, just yeah, helps.
And when he's not at work or policing the streets, Chris enjoys nothing more than spending time with his brother and the rest of his family.
I'm proud of him, yeah. He's doing things that I wouldn't like to do, if I'm honest. I do think he makes a good police officer. He takes it very seriously. You do worry because, you know, you see it on the news, don't you? Police officers are going down, and the last thing I want to hear is Chris getting into trouble when he's just trying to, you know, do right by people.
Tonight, Chris is on a rescue mission. A panic alarm has been pressed in a shop in the town centre, and Chris and his colleague PC Stacey Smith need to get there as soon as possible. It's just a few minutes to the store, where they find the worried shop assistant and her partner waiting for them.
We walked into the shop, I could see tins and food all over the floor. It looks a bit of a mess, really. And the shop keeper, yeah, she just seemed very shaken up.
The shop assistant explains that a man has tried to burgle the store.
Who's done this? Who?
One man, two men, one man.
Two. One man,
yeah.
One man, two.
Where are they now? Where are they gone? Out here? In the back?
One man, two.
Oh.
Chris and Stacey go through to the back office, where the shop owner shows them some CCTV footage of the incident.
From what I could see, a male with a yellow hoodie entered the shop. Basically tried to take something from behind the counter. He had a scuffle with the owner and ran out from the back of the shop.
Chris and Stacey set off to see if they can find the culprit.
Yeah, basically, we're looking for the guy that hoodie, bright yellow, passing right around the face. That's as far as we've got at this moment.
They're also looking for his accomplice, who appeared to be keeping watch outside the shop.
Can you ask your partner what the other chap was wearing?
What they wearing is...
Both of them.
Black dress.
Black jumper, black t-shirt?
Jumper?
Yeah.
All black? Yeah?
Yeah,
okay. Better high.
They head in the direction the suspects were last sighted.
Apparently they've gone down here, mate, so... They went down this way, so we could go up Norfolk Street. No, I think what they've tried to do, they've attempted to try and rob the store, possibly for money, cigarettes. So, yeah, I'm not really sure if they've got away with anything, but we'll find it out later.
It's now 20 minutes since the suspects left the shop, so the police need to act quickly. But just as they reach the area where the men were last seen, they spot someone else behaving suspiciously. And for now, they're forced to suspend the search.
Hello, mate. Yeah, we up to?
A man is going from car to car, wiping snow off the windows.
As we approached the male, he seemed not quite with it, just acting very strange.
Like I say, walking around, checking these cars like you're doing.
Made yourself look
suspicious.
Yeah.
Very suspicious, haven't you?
And I've got alcohol in my system and all.
Oh, yeah? Just go stand over near the van.
Yeah, I have, yeah, seriously.
Have you got any ID on you at all?
Yes.
You have? Can I have your driving licence or bank card or what you got?
I think I've got a bank card which proves it's me. Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't really.
Stacey decides to search him to make sure he's not carrying anything harmful or illegal.
So the grounds why we're going to search you is because we've just seen you coming from that car, scraping the window, all right?
Yeah.
Go to that car there, scraping the window.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, so my suspicion is maybe you're looking in the car to see if there's anything there to steal.
No.
But this is what we're thinking, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
But the search turns up something rather unusual.
Pants, yes.
I don't ask why. Why have you got a pair of pants in your pocket? Just step forward, mate. That's it. Socks. You got underpants in one drawer. Socks in the other. I don't know what we're going to find in the third pocket. Don't even ask.
Unfortunately, the man's third pocket turns up something a bit more sinister.
What am I going to find in this one, matey? A knife? What are you going a knife here for?
A knife?
Yeah. Why have you got a knife with you?
I don't know.
No? I think you're up to no good, you aren't you?
No.
I think you are.
He could have been a danger to the public due to the fact that he had a knife on him. You've got to ask yourself, why is he carrying a knife? And if he hasn't got a good enough reason, he's going to be arrested for it, simple as that.
The man is also behaving strangely.
No, I was out with a couple earlier, but then the brother come in the King's Head.
Right.
And I thought there was going to be a blooming punch-up. People was acting weird.
A bit like you are doing now?
And no, it's not that. Lager.
Chris calls control to run some checks on the man.
He's known for previous convictions. He's been released from prison in 2010. Obviously, we've got to be careful, as someone could just turn at any second.
They decide the best course of action is to take the man into custody.
All right, I'm going to take you in possession of a blading yard full of public place.
Are you?
Yeah, you're under arrest. You don't have to say anything. It may harm your defence. You don't mention. I'm going back to something later on in court, right?
Right.
But anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you totally understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Good lad. Right.
Yeah.
Come on back in my van, my friend. All right. Yeah. Excellent job.
Chris and Stacey head off to the police station, where the man will be detained and questioned. But their night's not over yet. As they turn the corner, With the detained man in the back of the van, they spot 3 males fitting the description of the men who burgled the convenience store.
Yeah, could be them. One of them wasn't wearing a top, or it was just in a T-shirt, which was quite strange as it had been snowing, and it was -5 at the time. It could have been that he may have been wearing a yellow hoodie and he's taken it off, so he wasn't recognised by us. Were you wearing a coat or jumper earlier?
No, because
No coats?
yeah, I got black
You left
jumper.
Get out in the cold and that.
Because for me it's hot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where have you just come from?
Poland.
Over here, from Poland?
Yeah.
Oh, good place, good place. Where have you just run from now?
His house.
Chris runs a check on the man
Yes, yes.
and discovers that he does have previous convictions.
Had previous for being violent, and he was known for carrying weapons as well.
But when they search the man, they find nothing to connect him with the burglary. So they have no grounds to hold him and let him go.
Thanks very much for your cooperation, all right? Look after yourself.
No problem.
Cheers, mate.
They now head back to the police station to take the man with the knife into custody.
Every time I go out on duty, you end up starting one thing and finishing doing something completely different. Now that was arrested that had the knife, it's satisfying that we've got him off the street. You never know what he could have done. But it's not just about arresting him. You know, he probably needed other help. So it's good to know that we've done that.
2 of the men who they stopped in the street were later arrested in connection with the burglary, but were released with no further action due to insufficient evidence. The man with the knife was charged with possession of a bladed article in a public place. He was sentenced to 18 months community service and enrolled on an alcohol treatment programme. It's mid-afternoon in Cambridge, and Special Sergeant Kirsty Bruce is teamed up with fellow Special Jamie Cooper. A report's just come in of a road traffic collision in the town centre.
It's car versus pedestrian as far as we're aware. So we're going to go give him an assist and see if we can give him a hand.
Our main priority when we arrived was to just stop the traffic, because in situations like that, even though the cars can see what's going on, if they're in a rush, they'll do anything and take any risks that they can to get through the traffic.
In her day job, Kirsty works as a nanny, looking after 2 children aged 5 and 7.
I take them to school, prepare their meals for them, take them to their after-school activities and keep them busy in the holidays. I went into nannying because I wanted to work closely with families as opposed to working in a nursery where you work with lots of different children. And I feel like working with my family, I've really become a part of their family.
Oh, there's a teddy bear one, Moo. It says create your own.
And for Kirsty, working with children isn't a million miles away from her work as a special.
Being a special is quite similar to being a nanny. It's about boundaries, not crossing the line, not letting people take too much and pushing their luck. Both jobs require a lot of patience, a lot of listening, and a very good sense of humour.
Today, Kirsty is out with fellow special Jamie Cooper. When he's not volunteering, he works in a supermarket. They're at the scene of a road traffic collision. A woman has been knocked down by a car as she was crossing the street. The driver of the car is now with her.
It's her left ankle is broken. We can't establish whether she's hurt anything else. We're running for her.
We thought that she'd broken her ankle. That's certainly what it looked like from where we were. I think she was in shock. She was in a lot of pain. She was crying. And I think she was just quite surprised at what had happened.
While the paramedics tend to the woman, Kirsty and Jamie make sure the waiting traffic doesn't try to force its way through.
Stopping traffic in Cambridge city centre is an absolute nightmare. It's quite easy stopping cars to a certain degree. If all the other cars have stopped, then they have to stop. But you have motorbikes, and the main issue is cyclists, because they will just see that they can get through and they'll try and go through no matter what we're doing.
The injured woman is transferred to a stretcher and taken to the ambulance. Kirsty and Jamie go to talk to the driver and passenger of the car.
It's important to interview the driver to find out what's happened. Potentially, it could be a drink driving offence. Unfortunately, it can just be an error as well. But from interviewing them straight away, we can hopefully get as much information as possible about what's happened.
She slowed down, put the bike brake to slow down, and noticed she was in the middle of the road.
I can't.
But she took a step back as we went over.
Okay.
And so she stepped back into the car.
Yeah. I think the driver was quite upset by what had happened. She was in shock. She couldn't believe that she'd hit somebody. She just needed reassuring.
Sometimes it's just, unfortunately, it's just one of those things where it's just the situation and you're stuck, and sometimes there's just nothing you can.
Ironically, she would have been fine if she'd have just stayed in the middle of the road.
Yeah. It looks like an unfortunate accident, but regular officer Sergeant Aaron Murphy still needs to perform a breath test.
Breath not blowing until I say stop. All right, I'll hold onto the machine. Blow. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you very much.
In any RTC situation, it is standard procedure to breathalyse the driver just to rule out drink driving as a factor. She said she hadn't been drinking and she blew 0, which proved that she hadn't had a drink.
You got a contact number for Luke?
Next, the team talked to witnesses to corroborate the driver's story, and pending a statement from the victim, the driver is now free to go.
We've got your details.
From what I can see, it seems to be an accident. The driver hasn't been drinking, there's no driver error, she didn't go through a red light, the pedestrian was crossing when the traffic light was green and the crossing light was red.
But until statements have been taken from everyone involved, it's impossible for the police to tell categorically if anyone was at fault here. In the meantime, the specials try to reassure those involved.
In a strange kind of way, this is the nicer side of specialing, and that's what I really want to achieve doing this. I want to help people, not necessarily by locking up criminals, by catching bad guys, but by being there, by being that reassurance when someone needs it the most.
The victim was treated for her injuries in hospital, and no further action was taken against the driver.